In thinking about what was it as a GS 3 through 11, 12 engineer that I saw, if I looked up, what did I see? If I looked up in the organization, if I looked to my management, if I looked to my project management, if I looked to my leadership at the center, what did I see when I did that? Because you all as project managers, and will continue to evolve to higher positions in your careers, you have an effect on people at all those different levels. So how are they seeing what you do? How are they feeling the effect of what you do? They are the end effector. You've got this long lever arm, but you're affecting that GS7, you're affecting that GS9, you're affecting the systems engineer, you're affecting your contractor systems engineer. So what was there about this when I looked up in that Saturn days to know what I was really doing? One was the leadership. I mean, I was working with the Von Braun team, for heaven's sakes. They were brilliant. They were brilliant technically. They were brilliant managerially. They were driven by this vision. They were driven by this goal. There was nothing going to stand in their way. And you know what? That meant that I felt like nothing could stand in my way. And my management was the same way. The leadership, the way they talked about things, the way they handled things, they knew everything. I mean, I never asked them a question they didn't know. And that's kind of startling. I think what has happened today is that we have a lot of newer people entering the agency, and a lot of the experience is left. And there's a lot of uncertainty with people at the working level. And the reason I'm telling you this is because part of your job is to take that uncertainty away, because that eats away at their capacity to do work. It eats away at their confidence in the fact that they can do that work. So when I would ask my branch chief, whether it was a technical question, whether it was a management question, whether it was a question of who do I go to for what, I never asked a question I didn't get an answer. Maybe that meant I was asking questions that were too simple. I would say that's highly possible. But these were people that pushed you. They were focused. They were focused on getting that rocket built, but they were also focused on their organization being a successful part of that effort. There was no fuzz on that. They weren't there for their organization. They were there to build this rocket and do those things. One of the things that really struck me was I was doing some testing in the lab, as you know, as co-op and lower level. You pull the night shift on the testing cycles. And I was there, and this fellow wandered by, and I looked up. No, that can't be. I must not seen who it really was. Turned around, came back in, and sat down by my test stand. I was sitting in the lab. It was Dr. Von Braun. It was 3 a.m. He was wandering around the center. He knew the testing was going on. He wanted to sit down. He wanted to find out what was going on. What did I think about it? Was it going to work out okay? Did we need an alternative path? We had a great conversation. 15 minutes with Von Braun was like a shot of adrenaline nobody could imagine. But that's the effect that leadership can have on people. I never looked back from that moment. I mean, that was so pivotal in how I thought about things, to be that questioning, to be that connected with all the people that were there.